The first time my ex-husband cheated on me, it wasn't with a bridesmaid at our wedding, it was a bridesmaid at a friend's wedding. It was kind of an interesting wedding setup. It was super, super small. My ex-husband was the only groomsman, so technically he was the best man. And then the bride had like 8 bridesmaids, and then I was the only guest who was a female who was like under the age of 30 who wasn't in the wedding, which was kind of odd because my husband, or my ex-husband now, was the best man. Which I'm not one to have FOMO, but it was just kind of an interesting situation. So let's just say I wasn't really off on a good note to begin with. And then my whole ex-husband's family was there, his parents, his brothers, and literally no one helped me with our son the entire trip. He was very young at this point. Again, I was pregnant. I was like 4 months pregnant. And my son was probably a year and a half old, 20 months old. And I would literally have to go buckle him in the car and eat my dinner in the car by myself because no one would help me with my under 2-year-old so I could even eat my food. So fast forward to the wedding reception. I remember there being this bridesmaid who was like really, really gorgeous. She had just graduated law school, and I was like, oh great, if I'm gonna have any issues with anyone tonight, because there was so much alcohol involved and I was literally the only sober one in the room, I was like, it's gonna be with this girl. I ended up excusing myself at one point from the reception because I literally felt like I was bringing down the vibe. I was like the only sober person in the room. I was pregnant. I wanted to go go to bed. My son was asleep and I was just ready to get out of there. At 2 or 3 in the morning, my ex-husband stumbled into the room. We were in this cabin with like all of his family. We all had our own room. We took the master. And he like stumbles in at 2 or 3 in the morning and totally wakes my son up. And he was at the age where it was like once he was up, there was no getting him back to sleep. And I had just pretty much literally had a terrible weekend, and I was ready to pack up and leave. So I literally packed up all of our stuff at 2 or 3 in the morning. I was extremely quiet, literally didn't wake anyone up, including someone who was sleeping on the couch in the living room. I packed up all of our stuff, packed up my Honda Pilot, and literally headed home as the sun was rising. This place had absolutely no cell phone service, so I literally wrote my ex-husband a note, and I put down my key to the room and said, please be sure that we get checked out. I'll see you at home. One of the reasons I did not even think twice before leaving to go back home was because everyone was gonna get up and go to brunch the next morning, and I'd already had such a terrible experience with restaurants and eating and all of that this whole entire trip that I was like, heck no, am I gonna put myself through that another time? So when they all finally went to brunch, my ex-husband had enough service to text me. Just realized I missed the spot. And he goes, like, is everything okay? Why did you leave? Why didn't you wake me up? And I was like, he did something wrong. For him to not be upset with me right now and be like, why didn't you wake me up at 4 o'clock in the morning? I was like, you did something wrong.